In this video, I'm going to show you the DT wave bands routine and the end of wave scanner. Dynamic traders' DT wave bands project the high probability time price targets to complete the most common patterns for any market and any time frame. And the end of wave scanner will scan an entire portfolio and identify which markets have reached the broad time price zones to complete the most common Elliott waves plus the Gartley and butterfly patterns. So let's take a look at these two unique routines to Dynamic Trader. Another unique routine to a Dynamic Trader is the DT wave bands. What the wave bands do is identify the high probability time price ranges to complete a section of a wave structure as long as up to that point in time the wave structure meets the general, well, not the general, but the rules and the guidelines up till that point in time. And this is something I developed uniquely and originated really in the late 80s to 90s, is for every section in one of the basic Elliott wave structures, both impulse and corrective, there are particular minimum, typical, and maximum time targets to complete that section in the structure, and price targets as well. And as you've already learned in DT, there's many different variations of how we identify the end of wave time and price structures. Well, this kind of puts it together fast, quick, and easy in DT using the wave bands. Let's take a look at an example. Let's assume that it looks like where the swing file has identified these significant pivots, we maybe have a 1, a 2, and a 3. And if that's the case, we want to identify the high probability time price target zone for a wave 4. Now, you don't have to know much about Elliott wave, and we do teach you the basics of Elliott wave in our educational material, but it's really pretty simple and it's not complicated, and unfortunately too many teachers over the years have made it complicated. But we'll teach you more about that to the owners of DT in our educational material and our videos. But let's open up the wave bands. Let's click on wave 4. You can see that it automatically labels 1, 2, and 3. And that means that these pivots have met the rules and guidelines to be a 1, 2, and a 3. And I'm going to click this box. This is new in DT7, is we automatically make the wave 4 time price range an alert. So if we just stopped looking at this market and waited for the alert to pop up, we would know when and if a market reached the high probability time price target zone for a wave 4. Let's advance forward a little bit. Here, I'll close this and we'll advance forward some bars, and we'll see that several bars later is the market, and this is 60-minute data for the ES, did reach that time price zones. And if I had this in trading mode and we had tagged that zone, the alert would have popped up. I didn't have this in trading mode, I'm just advancing forward. But the point is, now we know that a market has reached the typical wave 4 time price target zone. We don't know, we never know what the market's going to do, whether that's going to end up being the corrective high or not, but it gives us a high probability time price target to look at our other trading strategies to identify if this is the end of a correction. So for instance, here's a few bars later, we just made a bear reversal in our indicator. So as we teach in our educational material and our trading strategies, when we've hit time and price targets for a high probability to complete a trend or a counter trend, then one of the strategies is we look to our dual time frame momentum setups to identify reversals to complete that target. And as we go forward, we can see the market did indeed continue to decline to a new low, and once that occurs, then we can sort of change direction and look to identify the end of a wave 5 for a high probability low to complete this bearish trend. So that's our wave bands, and we have wave bands for the typical 2, 3, 4, and 5, as well as a wave C, and then the G stands for Gartley and butterflies. So we can identify the high probability target targets for each of those type of wave structures. Well, let's take a look at one more example, a quick example. This is 15-minute Euro data, and a very recent example. Let's just say we thought maybe we got a 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we just want to see where the probable wave 5 target zones would be. So let's bring down our wave bands, click on wave 5, and it's automatically going to label the 1, 2, 3, and 4 because those pivots meet all the rules and guidelines for a wave 4. Let's go forward. We can see as of the last bars in the chart, this yellow box is the minimum wave 5 time price target zone, and right above it is the typical wave 5 price target zone, time price target zone. The market keeps going sideways in there, and then as of that last bar, we made a bear reversal in our momentum on what's called a price momentum bearish divergence. Most of you know what that is. Of course, we teach you about bear and bull reversals and momentum and divergences and all in our trading material, our educational material. And we go forward and we see the market did continue lower from there. So it's a really nice function to have. And again, the market, these swing pivot points aren't always in an agreeable Elliott wave pattern, and if it's not, it won't make the projections because it looks at the past pivot points and say and asks itself, according to the rules that I've built into the program, are these pivots within the high probability ranges to be a 1, 2, 3, 4? Do they meet the rules and guidelines? And I've put some extra criteria in. They also have to be within particular time and our price zones to be labeled, in this case a 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, if they are, it will then project the minimum, typical, and maximum ranges, and we can set those little boxes as alerts just by checking underneath, and as soon as the market gets in there, it'll give us an alert. We can go take a look at the market and see where the momentum position is and the other price structure is in the lower time frame and the higher time frame, and make a high probability trading decision with minimal capital exposure. The DT end of wave scanner is a very powerful routine to scan through a large portfolio of symbols to see which ones, as of the last bar on the chart, have reached a high probability target zone to complete a wave structure. This is particularly useful for stock traders where you have large portfolios of stocks, a lot of symbols that you want to take a look at and narrow down the handful of ones for your immediate attention and immediate potential trades. So let's take a look at that. We'll go to our scan menu, and here's the DT end of wave scanner. Let me roll it down there so we can see it. And we can scan for different time frames, short, intermediate, long term, different edited swing files we have. We can scan it for just the price, end of wave price, or just the end of wave time, or time and price. Usually we'll do it for both the price and time zones because those are going to be the highest probability ranges for a reversal and to complete a wave structure. Well, let's just scan the Dow Jones 30 stocks. So we go down here and scan, and we're going to scan for all potential wave structures. Well, we just already did all 30 of those stocks. We have a lot of them that are in a wave 2 pattern. Out of all 30, what is there? About 10 here that are in a wave pattern, and most in a wave 2. Well, that's kind of typical. If the broad market is in a wave 2, then more than likely a lot of the individual stocks are. There's one in a wave 3 and a couple of them in a potential wave C pattern. We can just click on that stock, and it's going to bring the chart up, and let me just roll this up. So I clicked on the daily chart of T, and frankly I'm not even sure what symbol T represents, but let me move the chart around a little bit here. And why did it come up as a potential wave C? Well, the last unfinished swing was made into the exact time and price zone for a wave C. Now it actually got into that zone, it looks like 2 or 3 weeks ago, so if we did this scan daily, as of the first bar that reached that zone, we would have gotten the alert that was in the wave C time price zone. And of course it stayed in there for about a week, tested it several times, and so far has bounced out of that zone. Now what's new in DT7 in the end of wave scan is it then puts the labels on, the A and the B, and shows that this range is in the minimum wave C target zone. So let's roll that back down. Let's take a look at one more. Well, let's just go to the first one in the list. AA, American Airlines. It says it's in a position for a wave 2. Let's click on the chart. Let's roll up our results and see just where we're at here. We don't need so many bars on the chart. There we go. And this is actually, as of the last bar on the chart, this incomplete swing has reached the typical wave 2 time price target zone, and of course it's labeled this as a possible one and possible wave 2 low. Now we don't know for sure whether this is going to end up being a 1 or a 2. Here's what we do know, and this is how I teach our trading strategies, is always identify what is it that you know about the market. Well, we know one simple thing about the market, that we had made a new low here. We have come up. If this is a 1, then this is in the typical wave 2 time price target zone. So that's something that we can start with. We don't make a trade off that. We don't make a specific decision, but we can say, let's take a look at this and see what other information the market's giving us from dual time frame momentum, maybe even smaller time frame patterns, such as this is what I would see right off the bat. I would go and look at intraday data, because this looks like a nice A, B, C coming into a wave 2. We might do some time retracement work and some other type of analysis before we make a trade decision. But what a great thing to be alert to, that we've now come into this kind of broad zone for a particular wave structure to take a look at the market. And that's what's great about this end of wave scan, is that we can take a large number of symbols, scan them, and then take a look at the ones that are in the high probability end of wave target zones. Just click on the symbol, bring the chart up. It's going to show us the wave count and the zone itself. So for those of you who want to be alert on a daily basis on a large number of symbols to potential end of wave target zones, this is a scan you're going to use probably on a daily basis. And I'll tell you frankly, I don't use it on a daily basis. I use it on a weekly basis on the daily data, because I just want to be alert every week what markets are at or near, and not at or near, but what markets have reached end of wave target zones for my intermediate term trades, those trades that are going to last anywhere from several days to even several weeks. And that's why this is used a lot by stock traders. And if you're a futures trader looking at a lot of futures markets, you'd also be using the DT end of wave scan. Most of the features in Dynamic Trader are leading indicators. That is, they prepare traders in advance for the high probability time and price targets to complete a trend or a counter trend. The DT wave band and end of wave scanner are two more unique features in Dynamic Trader to help identify if a market is in a position to complete a pattern and make a trend reversal. And of course, we integrate this sort of time and price analysis with our multiple time frame momentum analysis, multiple time frame pattern analysis, and the specific trade strategies from entry to exit that we teach in the educational material that is included with the software.